Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first absolutely completely random podcast for 2017. I'm your host, Andrew Rhodes. It's Saturday, January 7th, and that can only mean one thing. For the next hour or so, I'm going to be entertaining you, or you can just click off this video. So many other people do, but please don't. I promise this is going to be fun. I have a lot of fun doing this. I know there are people out there that enjoy this, so check me out. Let's go. Let's do this. And let's get on with the absolutely completely random podcast for Saturday, January 7th, 2017. This week, I'm going to be talking about the Magic School Bus having a reboot and coming back. That's right. I am talking about Car Ranger, the crappy Sentai, which is basically how can I put this? A parody of a previous Sentai coming out on DVD in the U.S., courtesy of Shout Factory. I'm talking about an article that my mom found for me about detailing how Benedict Cumberbatch is related, according to Ancestry.com, to, believe it or not, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Who knew about that, right? I'm going to be also talking about the Full Metal Alchemist promotional visuals that were released for the live-action movie, and you don't want to know my thoughts on that. Paste Magazine ranked 100 of the greatest anime films of all time, and I'm going to be giving you the top 10 on that list. And the world's largest Evangelion statue in Shanghai? Well, you'll have to wait and find out about that, and so much more today on the podcast. But like always, let's get the sponsor out of the way, which is me, like always. I'm the only sponsor so far, but hey, that's cool. So here I am with your sponsory goodness. Hello, friends. Do you know the new year means new things? I know a lot of people consider weight loss and the I have to get in shape, but did you ever think about maybe starting up your collection again? Or maybe looking for some new hobbies or something else to do? Well, why not swing by my eBay page? If you're interested in trading cards, video games, DVDs, action figures, or what have you, I might have something that's right up your alley. All you gotta do is swing by and check it out. That's all lowercase ARHOADS-2012. That's ARHOADS-2012 on eBay. You can also follow me on Twitter at OtakuRhodes. Alright, so let's get a life update out of the way here. For the first week, I did manage to survive 2017 so far. Started off with a bit of excitement. New Year's Day, I slept in after getting the podcast up on YouTube. Happily! I managed to sleep in till about 10 o'clock Sunday morning. And Sunday, I want to say late morning, early afternoon, we had some excitement in my neighborhood. My neighbor's house caught fire. First off, I'd like to say they are fine. No one was hurt. Their cats are fine. And their house is still livable. It received mostly exterior damage that I could see. Maybe a little bit of interior, but not a lot. Which was very, very, very good. They were away at the time, and I really want to give kudos out to the volunteer fire department that we were right across the street from, both my neighbor and I. They were having a pork and sauerkraut dinner at the time, their annual dinner, and they put everything on hold for like a good 30 minutes to come over and put this out. They dropped what they were doing in a heartbeat to help. And that is a good thing. That just shows you how kindness and what people are willing to do for other people. That is a really good thing, and I'm really proud of that. I just want to give them kudos for that like you wouldn't believe. And here's another neat little piece for my update. I'm planning a new segment for my YouTube channel. That's right. Web Designer 18 is going to be having something called Andrew Reviews, where I pretty much talk about something neat like an action figure or a TV series, what have you, and I pretty much give you what I think about it. Now, if it's an action figure or a Transformer or a Power Rangers thing, I'll show you how to put it together, any neat little extra modes that I find, stuff like that. TV series, I give you the good, the bad, and the ugly on it. Either way, it's all wrapped up in Andrew Reviews. I'm planning on starting those sometime this month, possibly next month. So look forward to that coming on the pipeline. That's going to be really cool. And I've had a long week at work. I only had to work 2 days this week, happily. One day, no snow. Another day with snow. Have a new freight crew leader. And I'm just going to leave that at that. That should tell you something. It's going to be a long couple weeks. We know what's coming up soon. Yay, the almighty inventory and everything else. So either way, kind of looking forward to how things are panning out. I spent my Tuesday this week hooking up my grandfather's Christmas present. My mom and I got him a Roku Express Plus, and I have to admit that thing's really cool. There is a learning curve though to that. Without a doubt, there is a damn learning curve to that. I'm still trying to figure it out. My mom's still trying to figure it out, but we did manage to get a couple. We're just sticking to the free channels, and we found a couple on there that my grandfather really enjoys. There's one that plays a lot of old-time radio programs, which works out well because he's been listening to the radio since May of last year, since we got rid of cable. And they're really old radio programs, like what he would listen to as a kid or that he was listening to, in his younger days. So it really takes him back, and it's a huge boost of nostalgia. And there's a channel called Pluto TV. I still can't understand how that works, but it's kind of neat. And a whole bunch of other stuff. We're just, like I said, we're sticking to the free channels only. So there's a lot to explore with those. Because each one of the individual channels sometimes has half a dozen things in it that really expand upon it. And it's really interesting. And I just wanted to get that out there. So yeah. That's my week so far. So, let's get on with the podcast. I would say Professor Clump's going to be here, but the last I saw of him, he was driving the opposite direction with a massive sandwich in his hand and flipping me the bird. So, I don't know if that means he's never coming back or if he thought I was going to try to steal a sandwich. I don't know which that means. So, let's get on with the podcast, shall we? Everybody remembers the Magic School Bus? Well, buckle up, because it's coming back. That's right. Once again, you get to take a trip on that drug-filled school bus. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean that kids show. Yeah, kids show. In an article that was published by GoodHousekeeping.com, the Magic School Bus is coming back. Oh, like you wouldn't believe. With a crazy celebrity cameo list, Miss Frizzle, the modern science of the bus, and so much more. So here's what the article basically had to say. When the Magic School Bus first premiered in 1994, Pluto was still considered a planet. Yes, I know, it got demoted to a dwarf planet, and I think they're going to demote it again. Damn you, scientific people. But it's really cool. And after 20 years, or almost 20 years, it's coming back. And it was adapted from a celebrated science book series by Joanne Cole and Bruce Deegan. And here's the kicker. It's coming back to Netflix. Yep, that's right. The same channel that brought you Fuller House, the revival of, or I should say the continuation/sequel to Full House, which came out in early 2016. Yeah, I think there was somebody screaming when I said 2016. I don't know what the hell that was. But, so Netflix brought you that. So now they're bringing you the Magic School Bus. So I guess Netflix is now going to be doing the 90s, the late 80s, early 90s nostalgia cheese. Okay. If that's going to be the case, hey Netflix, I got a whole list of shows I'd like for you to bring back if possible. Centurions. I'd also like to have brought back Dudley the Dragon. Here we go. This is a good one. You can bring this back first if possible, or at least continue it somehow. I would like to see brought back to television any of the shows that Cartoon Network had on back in the heyday, like the Banana Splits. I'd love to see that again. Get on that, Netflix. You know you can do it. I believe in you. But anyway, they're bringing that back, so it's no surprise that Miss Frizzle, her gang of science nerds, and their time-traveling, gravity-defying, psychedelic, I swear she's putting some type of LSD in that bus's gas tank. Bus. I swear she's putting LSD in that. She's got to be doing that. Like, liquid... That bus is basically drugs on wheels. It's got to be. For it to be able to do all the kooky stuff it did, it's got to be drugs on wheels. But anyway, it's coming back. So, the revival, though, according to the article, was originally announced in 2014. Yeah, so were a lot of other revivals, none of which have come to fruition, happily. But, needless to say, it's still possible. It's going to change, like its viewership, it's going to change with the times. According to the article, computer-generated animation and a top-of-the-line school bus, equipped with robotics and gadgets to accurately reflect modern technology. So we're going to have some Galaxy Note 7s on there to boost that thing's rocket power? Wow, I didn't think that was possible. Kids will get to experience science and technology as it relates to their time, Netflix chief content officer told the New York Times. Miss Frizzle's hair, however, will remain very much the same, fiery red and curly. Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you end up sticking your finger in an electric socket. According to the article, though, continuing with it, there are tons of cameos planned. You know that the stars are doing that. Producer Stu Stone, wow, I could just see that, who also voiced Ralphie in the 90s show, claims that many original cast members have signed on to the project and that they should expect a few top-secret celebrity cameos scattered throughout the series. In a quote, "There are tons of cameos planned. I know that there are big stars who want to be involved in this," he told TMZ, and there's a whole generation of people who grew up on this series that want to be a part of it now that it's back. You know what I'd like to be a part of? I'd like to be a part of Doctor Who. Come on, 14th Doctor right here. I could do that shit. Yeah, but celebrity cameos have been a huge part of this show since its inception. Susie Quartz, Rosalind Chow, Edward James Olmos, Eartha Kitt, Carol Channing, Dolly Parton, Malcolm McDowell, and Dan Marino all participated in Magic School Bus during its glory days. No cast names have been released yet. Netflix is keeping everything, premiere date included, under heavier wraps than Dr. Pepper keeps their secret formula. But the revival, which was originally intended to debut in 2016, is certainly underway, Stone confirmed. Well, yeah, I would have hated for this to come out in 2016 with everything else that was going on. You had massive screw yous going across the world, Kim Kardashian getting robbed in Paris at gunpoint, Donald Trump becoming president, and people are still freaking out about that, and it's damn January. We're 13 days away from him being inaugurated, and they're still freaking out about it. So yeah, 2016 would not have been a good time for this to come back out. Definitely. The show's revival comes at a time when STEM and computer science is at the forefront of discovery, and like its earlier episodes, is sure to enthrall a new generation of little learners. Some things, after all, never change. Yeah, that's true. You plop a kid in front of the TV, say, watch this for 30 minutes, I'm going to go do parent stuff. Yet that's going to happen. I mean, with Sesame Street going to HBO, and then you have a whole bunch of other PBS shows jumping ship because they can't afford to pay their bills. Yeah, why not? We'll have Netflix take over the Magic School Bus. HBO can have Sesame Street. Okay, who wants dibs on Barney? I got Barney going fast here. Okay, nobody wants that yet. How about, what other shows we limp to the barn with? Cat in the Hat, that Critters. Oh, I got it. Who wants Sid the Science Kid? Who wants that? Come on. That's what PBS is just going to be doing at this point. Now, of course, it also depends on everything else, but I'm looking forward to this. Granted, I'm never going to watch Netflix, but still, it's nice to know that the Magic School Bus is coming back. It's nice to know that it has a chance at a new generation of kids. This is something that I grew up with. I also grew up with Big Bag on Cartoon Network, a science show on TLC that was basically a classroom that was really entertaining, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out the name of that thing. I grew up with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which, that's all I need to say about that. And so many other things. So, without a doubt, this is definitely something that my generation would be looking forward to pass down to their generation. Or to the next generation. So, I'm looking forward to this. So, yeah. This is going to be fun and entertaining. Okay, moving on. And in case anybody's wondering, yes, I do have allergies yet. I am a little stuffy, so I apologize if my voice goes in and out or if I have to blow my nose occasionally. I am suffering from allergies again. Just giving you a heads up. So, who knows about the Super Sentai series? Well, if you've been listening and you're regular followers to my podcast, hi, Mom! You would know about the Super Sentai series. I talk about them almost every week or every couple weeks. Well, Gekisu Sentai Car Ranger. Yes, that is the one that Power Rangers Turbo based their entire series on. With a couple changes to make it more exciting and to continue on the continuity of everything. But Car Ranger was its Sentai counterpart. But what's funny is that Car Ranger is a parody of Turbo Ranger, which premiered way earlier, before Zoo Ranger, which was what Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was based on, at least Season 1. Well, if you liked Car Ranger, like you like, Die Ranger, O Ranger, Kaku Ranger, Zoo Ranger, well, guess what? Shout Factory's got you covered. In an article that was pretty much on Facebook this morning, Shout Factory is now taking pre-orders for the English subtitle release of Gekisu Sentai Car Ranger. Yeah, that's right. Power Rangers Now noted the pre-order listing on Amazon.com early Friday morning. An official press release and confirmation from Shout Factory is yet to be announced. However, Brian Ward, Senior Director of Video Production and Digital Media for Shout Factory, I guess I should say it, noted on Twitter in response to fans, clarifying that while an Amazon product page and we're analyzing masters, this could easily change. Lots of factors. Stay tuned. So in other words, yeah, it could come out. Yeah, it may not come out. We don't know. But either way, hey, it's the next one in line if you think about it. They've already released, like I said, Zoo Ranger, Die Ranger, Kaku Ranger, and O Ranger. Now, only 2 of those are really worth watching, I'm afraid. Zoo Ranger's worth watching. Die Ranger's worth watching. O Ranger's worth watching unless you like to just watch Zeo. Either way, it's the same thing, but I think Zeo kind of did it a little better, but I can stand O Ranger. Kaku Ranger, there's a reason why the Sentai is a little more lax in the earlier days, and why Power Rangers was a little more done here in the U.S., just borrowing the combat footage. Kaku Ranger kind of shows that. It pushes it to a level that I don't think kids could see. Hell, there's sex in the first 2 episodes. Literally! 2 of the monsters are bumping uglies. But as noted by an Amazon listing, the set is scheduled to be released April 25th, 2017. Whether or not it's going to happen, we don't know. But there was an update yesterday, according to the quote-unquote thing. Confirmation email sent by Shout Factory's publicity department confirmed the cover images for the upcoming Car Ranger DVD box set. Yeah! Car Ranger originally aired in 1996 in Japan and was written by Yoshio Urasawa. The series took a comedic light and parodied staple elements in the Super Sentai series. And like I said, it was just basically a parody of a Sentai they had already did called Turbo Ranger. And that's it. That's all it was. So, yep. So, I could just get this from Shout Factory. Is it worth it? Well, if you're a collector of the Super Sentai series from Zoo Ranger on, yeah. You know they're not going to have any of the stuff from beforehand, which I know a lot of fans are going to be pissed about because they really want to see, like... I'd personally like to see Live Man. I thought that was pretty cool. Or Mask Man. Those two would be pretty neat to see. But a lot of this is going to be mostly, is it going to pan out? Can they get the footage? And a lot of this older footage might be degraded, too far gone. They can't use it. I don't know. You know, that stuff happens. I mean, look at and I can actually quote this. Look at the original Doctor Who stuff. There is so much of that footage that is missing and gone from the William Hartnell era. Some from the, second Doctor's era. I know the name. Patrick Troughton, I think. Yeah. There's so much missing from his era, because the film just degrades over time. You have to remember, when the Super Sentai series premiered in Japan, it was the 70s. That film ain't gonna survive to the new millennia over X amount of years. I mean, come on. What? It would be at least 40 years. That film, it would have to be in a perfectly sealed environment, constantly kept cool. None of that shit's going to happen, so, yeah, I don't know. But it would be neat to see. I'm looking forward to it. I'm mostly just looking forward to see how the scalpers that come out on eBay with this stuff are going to make a bundle on this. That's all I want to know. I'm just waiting to see that. That's what I'm looking forward to. Not saying I'm going to be one of those. I'm not that rich. But I just want to see what the scalpers are going to try to screw this on. Because, Amazon's probably going to charge. I did not look at the listing on Amazon. My guess would probably be about $30. I'm guessing the scalpers on eBay are probably going to be charging like $75 to $100. So, I could be wrong. I could be way out of the ballpark. It may not even come out. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what Destiny has in store. Alright, so it's time for the Cumberbatch bitches to cream their jeans for a little bit here. Because I got a Benedict Cumberbatch topic. And suddenly I just heard a strange sound that sounded like 1,000 women gasping at once. Wow. I don't know how he does it. But anyway, this article was brought to me by my mom, and I can safely say that because she sent it to me. Benedict Cumberbatch, according to Ancestry.com. Well, I gotta say to that for now. Turns out he is related to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. For those of you unfamiliar with who SACD is, well, it's certainly not a rock band that you took LSD or acid to listen to. No. It's Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is the author of the Sherlock Holmes series of stories. That's right. Sherlock Holmes. The very person that Benedict Cumberbatch plays in the BBC series Sherlock. Yeah. So, let's see how this article pans out, shall we? Yes, Benedict Cumberbatch is a renowned British actor known for his excellent performances in movies like The Intimidation Game, didn't like it, Doctor Strange, never gonna see it, not one of my favorite Marvel characters. But he's better known for his iconic portrayal of Detective Sherlock Holmes in the contemporary television adaptation of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's books. And as it turns out, the two creative geniuses have a lot in common. Yeah. According to Ancestry.com, like I said before, Sherlock star Benedict Cumberbatch is actually the 16th cousin of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, author who created the legendary detective Sherlock Holmes. The two British icons are descendants of John Gaunt, the son of King Edward III and the first Duke of Lancaster. For those of you unfamiliar, I don't even have a clue how that stuff works anymore, so don't even ask me. I'm dead serious. A historian from Ancestry.com said, making family history connections is similar to piecing together a mysterious puzzle. One that the great Sherlock Holmes himself would be intrigued to solve. Yeah. Now keep in mind, this is an Ancestry.com lookup. And this wasn't done according to the article that I got from my mom. This is a subsidiary one that I got just for the nitbits of it. This is basically what you call the Cliff Notes version. This was done without the actor's knowledge. This was done, I think, for shits and giggles. I guess some random Ancestry.com employee was just going, I wonder who's related to who, and just started typing in names. And they thought, let's see if Benedict Cumberbatch is related to anybody, and it turns out he is. But remember, it's an Ancestry.com connection, so it may not be accurate. It may not even be true. There have been stories and tales about how those things have not exactly been right, how they've been off. I think I liked the one where apparently some lady was related to a dog, and they could not figure that one, how that happened, and they think that it was just a screw up, and I think she actually paid for that walk down screwed up lane, and they just refunded her money, if I remember right. But yeah. So, Benedict Cumberbatch is related to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. That's cool. You just keep playing Sherlock. You touch Doctor Who, and I'm done. That's all I gotta say. I cannot get behind you as Doctor Who. I'm sorry. You want to play Sherlock Holmes? Be my guest. You're perfect for it. You want to play anybody else? That's fine. I'm not going to watch it. Sherlock's about all I can stand you in. Sorry to say that. Alright. Now, you know my theories and my feelings on live-action anime adaptations. I don't like them. Dragon Ball Evolution was a horrible piece of crap. Attack on Titan had the glitchy subtitles. The only decent one that I have found so far was a Rurouni Kenshin adaptation, but that was basically a samurai flick. And don't forget, we even had that Gundam G Savior movie, which sucked. That I don't even think a sci-fi star of the 90s could have saved. Needless to say, live-action anime adaptations and I don't really get along. They are so sour to me that I just can't stand them. Full Metal Alchemist is now going to be joining the live-action adaptation list, and promotional visuals were released this week. Yeah. The live-action adaptation is planned to hit theaters in December of 2017. So you got an entire year of 2017 to start hating this. Hey, I'm not looking forward to that Power Rangers reboot, and I've seen everything, including Bryan Cranston now as Zordon, thanks to an interactive experience that somebody leaked that I think it was a Reddit user that leaked that online. And there is no saving grace for that movie anymore. But last November, we got our first look at the live-action Full Metal Alchemist film. Now a pair of new promo shots have been revealed, giving another glimpse of the real-life world of Edward and Alphonse Elric. Or whatever they're planning to lie and call them in the end. Full Metal Alchemist is directed by, and I know I'm going to mispronounce this, and I apologize if I do, Fumihiko Sori, and I might have actually got that right, who did Ping Pong, and stars Ryusuke Yamada from Assassination Classroom, as Edward Elric. The voice actor for Alphonse, who is credited via CG, has not yet been revealed. Oh joy. The film will tell the story of the entire manga. Now this is where my question is. Which version of the manga are we going with here? Are we going with like the first 9 volumes of the manga before it drifted off into Brotherhood? Or are we just going straight on into Brotherhood? Because if we're just going to dive straight into Brotherhood, then just say it's going to be following the manga to, like the Brotherhood series. You just say, yeah, it's going to be following Brotherhood. Because that's what the manga was. Up to volume 9 of the manga series was basically just... Yeah, volume 9 is basically where I figured the drifting point was between it and Brotherhood, and that's basically it. Now, it started off differently. Brotherhood started off differently. Yes, there's a reason for that. It came out afterwards. The first few volumes of the manga were already published by then. So it's safe to assume that, oh, yeah, well, we can improve upon this and that's not a problem. So my guess is that it's going to be following the story of Brotherhood. Not a bad one. I actually have to admit it's slightly better than the original. But you still have to give the original credit. It will be released in Japan in theaters this December. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to not seeing that when it hits the US. Hey, I hated Dragon Ball Evolution with a passion. I'm really not looking forward to this one. But, they can't all be winners. I mean, live-action adaptations of anime series and manga series even have their limitations to what they can and cannot do and what they should and should not do. If you want to improve upon a series, improve upon it. If you want to make a series from scratch, then do that. Don't take something that already exists, screw it up beyond repair, and then tell everybody, yep, this is what you get. Because they're not going to like it, they're not going to take it, and they're pretty much just not going to go see it. Dragon Ball Evolution was a horrible mistake. Attack on Titan should have never been made, or at least should have been watched and double and triple checked. That would have been more entertaining. G-Savior, not to mention the countless other ones. I'm not going to get into the Ghost in the Shell because I haven't seen it. I don't even know if it came out yet. I don't think it did, but I haven't seen it. I was never a fan of the series, so I don't plan to see it. But still, you can't judge one thing horribly. I'm just saying that the live-action adaptations of these manga and anime series don't stand the test of time, and they don't live up to the hype that the studio puts upon them. It paints the series in a negative light. So needless to say, because this segment and the topic's getting on a little long here, I kind of see a few more memes coming up. The Aang with the Avatar, or the Last Airbender movie, I should say. Can't say Avatar, the Last Airbender movie, because Avatar was used by James Cameron. Just getting that out there as your free education for today. Aang with the Last Airbender movie going, that movie gave me cancer. Goku lying in bed with Dragon Ball Evolution going, I know the feeling. And for a while it was Eren Yeager standing there going, guys, I'm scared of the Attack on Titan thing. Now I'm getting the feeling it's going to be Edward or Alphonse or both of them going and seeing the Full Metal Alchemist one coming up and going, this isn't going to end well or something like that. So, yeah, I guess only time will tell. Might do good, might do bad, I don't know. You never know until something happens. That's all there is to it. Alright. Well, every year, people want to tell you what they think the top 10 of this, the top 10 of that is. Basically the good, the bad, the ugly, and all that other stuff in between. Well, Paste Magazine ranked the 100 greatest anime films of all time. And I'm not going through all 100 of them. I tried. looked at it on their site and I can't do that. My eyes were starting to roll around in their head, in my head, just reading them. So there you go. But according to the article, no way around it. The end and beginning of a year is always list heavy. Yep. You always have top 10 horrible things about the year that passed. Top 10 things we're looking forward to this coming year. Top 10 best things that happened last year. So, like I said, Pace Magazine came out with a list. They ranked the top 100 greatest anime films. And the article, which was up on Otaku USA, I might add, gave you the top 10. Just to narrow it down, because nobody's actually going to sit through and read all 100 of those. So here's the top 10 on that list, starting from number 10, going down to number 1, in this order. Number 10, Neo Tokyo. Number 9, My Neighbor Totoro. Number 8, Patlabor 2. Number 7, Perfect Blue. Number 6, The Wind Rises. Number 5, Paprika. Number 4, Ghost in the Shell. Number 3, Grave of the Fireflies. Number 2, Spirited Away. And coming in at number 1, Akira! Yep, that's right. Akira is number 1. Who saw that coming? The list spans decades of studios, directors, and franchises, and at 100 titles, it's pretty darn comprehensive. Yeah. Nobody will have seen all 100 of those movies. In fact, to be just in the top 10, I can safely say I've only seen 2. And that would be Akira and Spirited Away. I don't do anything with Ghost in the Shell. I have seen clips of Grave of the Fireflies and top 10 lists. Never actually seen it. I have seen clips from the trailer for Paprika when I watched a movie called Tekken King Crete, which, by the way, was god-awful. Made no sense. I have heard of My Neighbor Totoro. I have not seen The Wind Rises, but it is on my list to see. Haven't seen Neo Tokyo. Never seen Perfect Blue or even heard of it before today. And Patlabor 2 I have heard of, never seen it. So, there you go. The list was co-written by Adult Swim Toonami mastermind Jason DeMarco, and is an attempt to create a premiere of 100, or primer I should say, of 100 of the most influential and essential films that Japanese animation has produced, and to offer a thorough and aesthetic, technical, and historical breakdown of why these films matter, and offer newcomers a comprehensive guide through to learn, rediscover, and explore the fullness that the genre of Japanese animation has to offer. So see out there, all you haters, it's not porn! This is an art style! I've been saying it for a while now, and so many others have been saying it with me. It is not porn, damn it! If you want to check out the list, check out Taste Magazine. I think they have a website. If not, just type in the list, or check out otakuusa.com. They have, pretty sure they had the link in the article. I'm not sure. Let me double check. Yeah, I think they have a list or the link in the article. Like I said, I'm not about to try to go through it all. Not going to happen. I'll be here all night if I got to do that, and you don't want me to be here all night. All right. This portion of the Absolutely Completely Random podcast is brought to you by A-Roads 2012 on eBay. For all your trading card, action figure, video game, DVD, and collectible nostalgia, or just plain unusual crap needs, check out A-Roads 2012 on A-Roads-2012 on eBay. Don't forget, you can also follow me on Twitter at OtakuRoads. And yes, I actually did get that in like slightly one breath. Wow. All right. So it's January 7th, which means that Dragon Ball Z Kai, the final chapters, which is basically the Majin Buu saga, which we have been waiting for so goddamn long, and Dragon Ball Super are premiering on Toonami. What does this mean? Well, it means that the fans that have been bitching and complaining since Dragon Ball Super hit Japan that said, and I quote, "I'm waiting till the dub comes out," can finally shut the hell up. They're finally going to get it. And I do mean that. I agree with them. Yes, the dub's better. Mostly because, and I do apologize to the voice actress for this, but I just can't stand the Japanese voice of Goku. I can endure it, but I'm still cringing when I hear it. No, I have no hard feelings towards her. She does the best she can. That's the role that made her famous, and she gets a lot of money for it, I assume. So, no hard feelings towards her. I really mean that. But it's just, I can't stand that voice. I'm so used to hearing the voice from the English dub. And I don't mean the Ocean dub, I mean the Funimation dub. So, I'm used to hearing it in English. Now, does that mean that I was going to wait till the English dub? Oh, hell no. I'm not patient in the least. I am the least patient person you were ever going to meet. So, I watched the sub version. It's fine. Watch it with subtitles. It makes it even more exciting because then you get to watch it the same time it's released. You don't end up seeing all this stuff online going, oh, well, the Universe Tournament. Oh, well, Goku Black. Oh, Future Trunks. So many people were bitching and complaining because, well, they have to stop putting this stuff out. It's going to spoil it for me for when it hits the English dub. Just watch the damn sub. Watch it with the subtitles. Get it over with. It's like yanking off a Band-Aid. Just do it really quickly. But I'm glad it's starting up. I'm mostly glad that Dragon Ball Z Kai can now be put to bed. Next to Dragon Ball GT, it's one of the worst Dragon Ball things ever. It's in the top 3. It's Dragon Ball Evolution, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Z Kai. I'm not joking. So, I'm happy for that. They start up tonight at 11:30 on Toonami. Check that out. I don't know. Well, yeah, this podcast probably isn't going to be up by 11:30, so check it out next week for episode 2, I guess. And enjoy it. So, there's that. Moving on. Who likes Neon Genesis Evangelion? Who likes Shanghai? Who likes statues? What do these 3 things have in common? Well, the world's largest Evangelion statue debuted in Shanghai. That's right. Another article brought to you by Otaku USA. If you assume the world's largest Neon Genesis Evangelion statue would be in the anime's native Japan, I had to cringe at how that was fixed up for a moment there. Well, you would have been right until January 3rd, that is, when a new Eva statue in Shanghai, China was unveiled. The statue is of Eva Unit 01, which was the one that Shinji piloted, which was created by Chinese game developer Hitao, is 24.8 meters high, but as Anime News Network points out, the new world record, seriously, Guinness gave them a certification and everything. Well, yeah, Guinness has nothing better to do right now. They give out world records like I would give out donuts if I owned a bakery. Is a bit dubious, considering it's the replica Lance of Longinus and not the Eva itself that reaches the 24.8 meters. So in other words, they basically cheated. At least that's how I see it. Yet the Lance of Longinus is taller than the Eva unit, which is basically squatting down making it taller. You can't consider that, oh yeah, it's the tallest statue. Yeah, they get it. No, it would have to be standing up, damn it, or at least kneeling. That would make it taller. Nah, the Lance of Longinus. Oh, cool. All right, so what I'll do is I'll make a statue. Let's see. I got it. I'll make a statue of Goku, and I'll have the power pole be just 1 foot higher than he is. And I'll get the title for the tallest Dragon Ball Z statue because of the power pole. Come on, guy. Come on, Guinness. Seriously? Japan-based Eva fans shouldn't get too discouraged, though. They've still got the Unit 01 replicas in Hakone, and at amusement park Fuji Q Highland. So, you don't have to go all the way to Shanghai if you live in Japan to see Eva Unit 1. Then again, you can just buy a small Eva Unit 1 model kit or a small Eva Unit 1 figure on eBay. So what's the big deal here? Am I shocked by this? No. China and Japan have always had a pissing contest with each other. And it's going to be one of those eternal things. Like how the sun rises in one direction and sets in another direction. It's happened for so many years, and it's just going to continue happening. There isn't anything that can be done. So, yep. Though I personally think, though, with this, that the Lance of Longinus should probably be removed, and then we can actually see what it really comes out to height-wise. But we'll let it go. Let China have this one. All right, Japan, let's get going on the brand new statue that's going to be, I don't know, as tall as the Chrysler Building? Yeah, there you go. That'll be great. That'll show them. All right, it's Q&A time here on the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. As usual, no names will be given. Your questions are asked anonymity. You have anonymity when you ask your questions. They are all asked anonymously. If it's your question, you'll know who it is. If not, better luck next time. I pick some randomly. Each time I get a whole buttload of questions, and I actually got 5, I think, if I remember right. And I just copied and pasted them. So the first question. Why did I consider doing a podcast? When YouTube creators do so much other stuff, why do a podcast? Believe it or not, YouTube actually wasn't my first choice to do the podcast on. As I specified in an earlier episode, this sort of fell into my lap with YouTube. Why do a podcast, though? I mostly wanted to get my thoughts and opinions out there, and unfortunately, blog posts are a pain in the ass to write. Though I did think about starting up one, I don't know if I will yet or not, but blog posts can be a pain in the neck to do sometimes. However, podcasts, all I gotta do is just talk for about an hour a week. Not really that difficult. Mine's a weekly podcast. I was inspired by the CU podcast. I figured if Pat Contry and Ian Ferguson can do it, I can do it. Pat does it now by himself since Ian's sick, and Ian, I do hope you get well soon. For now, Pat's holding down the fort, and nothing's caught fire yet, so you're still good, buddy. You're still good. But I guess I mostly just did this because I wanted to make my voice and my opinions matter and show the world that there is another person out there that's willing to tell them what's on their mind when it comes to certain topics. Like Power Rangers movie coming out March 24, 2017. It's gonna suck! At least that's my opinion. But yeah, I did not originally plan to upload my podcast on YouTube. I was originally uploading it on a site called SoundCloud. However, you only get 3 hours for free, and I pretty much pissed through that by episode 4 with having only 10 minutes left of my 3 hours free. Needless to say, they gave me we got rid of your original one to put up your newest one. By the way, if you want to put anything else up on our site, you got to pay us. I immediately then started searching around for other alternatives, and then just started slapping myself in the head going, why the hell don't I just put it up on YouTube? And that's what I've been doing since. It's easier and more entertaining. Another question. Okay, here's the next question, I should say. I enjoyed your couple podcasts where you added pictures. Why don't you do that all the time? That's actually a good question. The reason why I don't do that all the time is twofold. The first reason is copyright. There are YouTube copyright trolls out there that would love in a moment's heartbeat to nail somebody with copyright infringement just to see their channel die. My channel barely has any subscribers. I got like 6. I have little to no following on YouTube, other than an occasional comment where I get into a nerd battle, and I get into like a nerd off, like I've been doing all week with Link Cars atop the fourth wall, Digimon #1. But that's one of the reasons why I don't include pictures anymore. Maybe occasionally I'll put one up if it's something that you need to actually see that I can't describe, like the Alpha 5. Otherwise, I avoid pictures for the copyright infringement. That's the main reason. The second reason, it takes so damn long to fix up the videos then. Mostly because I'm now spending so much time putting the pictures in, making sure it lines up with what I'm talking about, that it takes so much time away from me actually being able to do anything else. Before I could just fix up the podcast with the static picture of my logo and the audio and be done with it. Now I have if I put pictures in, I have to do the editing, which takes a lot of time. Yes, it would probably get easier over time, but I'm a one-person operation, and I do have a life outside of this that I have to make sure I balance everything so well in a juggling act. So quick and fast is what I do to get everything out in time. It's still quality, I can assure you of that. You just don't see anything, but I'm more in you just have to listen. There's really nothing to see. But thanks for enjoying the pictures, though. That makes me feel good. It knows that it's the 2 hours I put into that when I had to go to work that night, and I had to go to sleep then during the day, means something. Well, that's good. I appreciate that. Okay, question number 3. I remember listening to one of your podcasts when you were complaining about the Power Rangers movie. I take it you were a fan of the old school stuff, or do you just hate Power Rangers in general? I don't hate Power Rangers. I'm not a fan of Super Megaforce. I'm not a fan of Megaforce. Both of those can gladly burn and rot in the bottomless pit of doom. As far as the reboot's concerned, I'm going with mine on an opinionated state of I've seen it. I've seen the trailer. I've seen what the Megazord looks like. I've now seen what Goldar looks like. Alpha 5. Thanks to that Reddit user, the world is seeing what Zordon looks like. The plot's been revealed. Everything for this movie has been laid out on the table, and nobody is going to. There's nothing left to surprise us with. We know what the Megazord looks like, and thanks to the toys, we know how it combines. We know what Goldar looks like. We know what the plot is. We know what Zordon now looks like, what Alpha 5 looks like. There's nothing more to surprise us with. I'm just not a fan of this because I think it's gone a little too far off the deep end, and too much of it got leaked. No, I'm not just a butthurt fan of the original series thinking that they should have just stuck to that. I understand the need to reboot something and make it a little better. But at the same time, you can't just up and reboot something and go, yeah, we're just going to take this so far off the deep end and just give a middle finger to the old school fans that we're expecting to come see this. That's where it keeps getting my goat. All right. I got time for a couple more questions yet. Next question. Do I have any plans to expand the podcast or change its weekly to bi-weekly or add more time? No. Simple answer, no. I have no plans to change the timing of the podcast. It's still going to be a weekly podcast. I have no plans to extend it past like an hour. The longest I've done is an hour and 20 minutes. I was exhausted, and as a view show for it, it sucked. Then again, I'm lucky if I get 6 views a week, so what do I have to complain about? So yeah, I'm not really planning to do anything else with the podcast. At least not now. Wink, wink. I mean, I might have some secret stuff coming down the pipeline, but I'd have to test a lot of that out, see what works, what doesn't work, and go from there. And finally, the last question that I can do for tonight, because time's starting to wind down. I'm getting tired, and I got a couple other things I want to do tonight before I go to sleep. You keep mentioning the CU podcast. You know Pat might be looking for a new co-host. Any chances you'd be interested in that? I'd like to do it. I don't know who sent this one, actually. They just left it anonymously. I would probably be game for it, but I don't know anything about retro games. I don't think Pat would enjoy me giving commentary. I'd probably be too nervous being near him because he's the big man, he's the big cheese and big star. And, if Ian were to pop up, suddenly I'd feel like I'm back in high school because Ian reminds me of my one friend from high school. So I don't really see... I don't really know how I would go about it, but yeah, if Pat's looking for if he would ever be looking for, because I don't think he is yet. I think Ian's still planning to come back once he feels better. It's just going to take some time. But yeah, if Pat would ever be looking for a new host, I'd be game. I know he wants to come out with a new podcast. I think according to this week, he said something about the Pat Cast or something. I don't know. That seems kind of cool. I could get behind that. I do my podcast, the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. So, yeah. So, I don't know. So, thanks for the questions. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask me, feel free to send them to acrpodcast@gmail.com. I check that email a couple times a week. So, your question, I do check it at least on a Saturday. So, your questions could get answered prior to the podcast. Your topics could get up for the podcast. And speaking of topics, if you have any that you'd like to submit for the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast, feel free to send them to acrpodcast@gmail.com. That's acrpodcast@gmail.com. Use the subject topics for topics. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, it's the same email address. Just use the term sponsor in the subject line. And if you have any questions, again, same thing. Same address, just use the word questions. If you have any ideas for things I can improve upon the podcast, besides add pictures or video, feel free to send them to acrpodcast@gmail.com. Use the subject podcast improvements to let me know how you feel. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter @OtakuRoads. That's my official Twitter page, by the way. And this has been a fun and exciting week. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody next week. And for the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast, my name is Andrew Rhodes. Professor Clump, if you're out there, I'd like you to come back. And by the way, you owe me a hoagie, you fat bastard. Anyway, take care, everybody. So long. Sayonara, and I will catch you all next week on the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. Bye, everybody!